Hello everyone, today we have a lot to talk about. But first, guys, look what just took place. What just happened with Bitcoin's price? As we see right there, 20,000 plummeted to 3 digits, guys, right? Oh, wow. I wonder which community talked about this. Dan Pena said the same thing, right? It's going to plummet fast and quick when it does take place. But is this supposedly just a glitch or not? Number 2, this took place on the MEXC exchange as well. So it's probably liquidity problems, right? Low liquidity. If you go on the exchange right here or on the charts for the exchange of Bitcoin to Tether pairing, what do we see right here, guys? Look at that. We zoom in, 20,000 all the way down to 3 digits. Will you look at that, guys? Wow, absolutely mind-boggling. On the futures chart as well, guys, look at that. The hourly, it just plummeted. So crazy stuff is actually happening. What do you guys think will take place at the end of the day? Comment down below. The interesting thing is, guys, or it's just merely a glitch on TradingView itself, right? But remember, we know there are no coincidences. This is a log chart. It went to 0, by the way. That's how we know it's probably most likely a glitch. But again, guys, we know there are no coincidences, right? Who knows? Maybe one day the future price of Bitcoin will be at 0 or very low. Now, let's talk about the Federal Reserve delays ISO 20022 cut over by 2 years. Oh, isn't this quite fascinating? Right, guys? The reason being is because it correlates with the timeline that I posted a few weeks back, right? 2025. The Federal Reserve is to delay the implementation of the ISO 222 payment messaging format by 2 years to 2025. Again, guys, so let's talk about the 2 scenarios that I believe will take place, okay? There are 2 options in my mind that I've been thinking that's a high probability to happen. So, scenario number 1. The reset takes place at 2024, 2025, right? The problem reaction will happen at 2024. The reset, the collapse, will take place at 2025. That's scenario number 1. With this scenario number 1, XRP goes up, cryptos goes up, and stocks goes up on an insane bull run to that date, right? To when the problem happens, which is 2024. Then the reset. So that's the best case scenario because XRP goes up and never stops. We got to think about it, guys, right? Interesting. Scenario number 2 is it will happen a lot quicker, meaning it will take place very soon, actually. Most probably this autumn, right? Fall. Because of what Mr. Poole did post. The reset will most likely take place at fall during that season. Now, remember, they could implement ISO tomorrow if they wanted to. But what needs to first happen before they can implement it? Do you guys know? Yes, a problem needs to take place first, right? An emergency. Then they could do what they want at any point in time, guys. So, interesting stuff, right? The Fed had previously set a deadline of November 2023 for a cutover to the extended payment message format in line with its implementation by SWIFT and other global money transfer networks. The agency says that it will instead opt for a 1-day cutover on March 10th, 2025. The board believes that shifting the implementation date for the migration of the FedWire Fund service to ISO 222 format to March 10th, 2025, rather than targeting November 2023, as proposed, should mitigate commentators' concerns regarding resource constraints in light of the launch of FedNow service. The Fed board says, wow, guys, this is actually very, 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 very interesting because it follows the timeline that I posted a few weeks back. But always remember, they could implement whatever they need to tomorrow if they wanted to. But first, there always needs to be a problem reaction to it, right? Then the solution comes out of the woodworks, out of nowhere, as we see right here, the correlation. So, this is the final timeline, by the way, right, for the Federal Reserve. This was posted on June 27th, 2022. Look at this, for release at 1:30 p.m. 13, by the way. Absolutely mind-boggling stuff. Now, the board confirmed that the new message format ISO 222 will be adopted on a single day, overnight, quote unquote, right? Overnight. It will happen overnight, guys, when it does take place. Guys, we literally cracked the code. It's the simplest thing ever. We literally cracked the code. The only question is, when will the collapse happen? Will it be this year or 2025? You go ahead and comment down below. Other than that, we exactly know what the price will do. We talked about it, guys. As proposed last year, rather than in 3 separate phases, the board also provided a new timeline for implementation based on review of public comments, with the new message format to be adopted on March 10th, 2025. There we go. This is the final timeline, but always remember, they could implement it whenever they need to, right? Never forget, guys. Now, which could correlate with this tweet. It takes about 6 months for the economy to follow the stock market. Massive layoffs should happen in second half of 2022. Housing market will follow as new home buyers will be absent. Now, isn't this interesting, right, guys? Again, the economy isn't looking too well, but I believe the Fed pivots here shortly, guys, which will make cryptos and stocks bullish once again, right? Guys, do we believe? Remember what Elon Musk stated, or that one time tweeted out? We are in the roaring 20s at this point. What happened in the roaring 20s? Everyone got filthy rich, right? Wealthy. That means we probably still have more up to go before the collapse does take place. It's a simple phenomenon, guys. This close CVS, just in S&P 500 down 21% in half a year. First half of this year, post worst return since 1970, guys. Wow. Again, do we see how terrible the stock market and everything else is looking like, right? Let's just see what happens this year. We just have to be a little bit more patient, and time will reveal everything. We will know this year what will happen, right? Last but not least, crypto latest tweet out. So guys, the new financial system is up on the horizon. Always remember that this is guaranteed. We are basically guaranteed to become rich, right? It is basically guaranteed, guys, at this point in time that XRP will become the heart of the new financial system. Obviously, not financial advice. Not financial advice. Listen to this. Credit Baba Cooks.
Here's a little video I'm going to make for you. Right now, banking today, everyone is stuck to SWIFT. All these countries have their own central banking system, but at the end of the day, it has to move through SWIFT. Now, most people, the only thing people complain about with SWIFT isn't the system itself. It works pretty well. It's just fees and time, which blockchain erases instantly. It's the control of the US dollar in a fragmented world. That's why the Russian war started, to illustrate that we need to move to a public platform that connects central bank digital currencies. The war was started on purpose. Now, the future is the XRPL, okay? The XRPL was chosen years ago, and all countries now no longer will be fragmented from one another because there's no country sitting in the middle. SWIFT announced that they will use digital assets for cross-border payments. So if SWIFT right now is moving all the money in the world, and they just announced that they will be using digital assets cross-border payments, there's only 2 tokens that do that. Only 2, Stellar and Ripple. That's it. Now, what are the odds that one of them has a private ledger? What are the odds that one of them is getting nominated to the Federal Reserve? What are the odds that the lady with her name on all the money is working at Ripple? Why? Because this is the future. You want to know why countries are okay with this and not okay with this? Because this is country agnostic, which means nobody's reliant on anybody anymore. So what happens now? Now you have different central banks upgrading to ISO in November, and you'll have the XRPL, and everything will be connected through ILP automatically de facto, because if you use this has to happen. So this connects to this. This connects to Internet of Things, other blockchains. Do you understand? What does that mean then? If Swift and RippleNet, it becomes the mafia of money. Do you understand? You're focused on user interface integration. Ripple is the mafia of cryptocurrency. Quadrillions in settlements. Derivatives alone, quadrillions. And it's not just currency. Then it's...
Again, guys, the neutral bridge, right? We talked about this. Currency agnostic. Guys, all the proof is before our faces, but most are too either ignorant or stubborn to see it, right? Again, guys, the future is literally now. It's happening before our faces. You guys are prepared, right? But anyways, that's hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys please like, subscribe, so very much. It's an amazing day. And you guys, see ya.